Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Timber Time Outdoors. Dave, my brother Aaron, and today is spraying day. So it's part one of our food plots for this year. So it's mid-May and we are gonna spray our fields, get rid of all the weeds, and so we'll go through that process. We got a really nice sprayer here. It's made by Frost, and we'll show you how we kill our weeds.
Hey now, take a step outside and seize the day now.
I'll give you kind of the walk around here of this sprayer. So it just attaches to the 3-point hitch. It's got a PTO pump made by Frost Inc. They are in St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin. Just a super great food plot sprayer. And you can see it's got a pressure gauge. This is the drain. So when you're cleaning it out, it's got a low point drain and a filter. So one of the nice things about this sprayer is that it has a really good cast iron PTO pump. We had a sprayer in the past that used an electric pump and it was not very good. So very robust system, and we haven't had any trouble with this one. A lot of pressure. The sprayer is great because you can see it doesn't have a great big boom on it. It's just got 3 sprayers, but they will spray out a good 15 yards on each side. So we get a lot of coverage, yet we can go through the woods with this thing. It's really an ideal sprayer for food plots and woods and that kind of thing. That is not good. We might have a broken seal or something. We'll have to investigate that. Okay guys, no more leak. So basically there was an O-ring and a little compression fitting inside there, and over the winter some stuff must have shifted. We're kind of just learning this thing, and I think as a good practice I try to get all the water out of it as best I can, but I'm going to take this apart every year and tip these down so I get all that water out of here. It's pretty easy to get it out of the tank, but I did not do a great job of getting the water out. So learning as we go here guys, but anyway, this is the sprayer, and you know, these nozzles here, you know, see how far that shoots out? Hopefully you can see that. You know, so without a boom, you can get a nice wide sweep. Just a fantastic tool for food plot spraying. So guys, if you want to call this Frost place in St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin, here is the number. And one other thing that we do, these couplers here, we zip tie them shut just to make sure they don't fall off. You know, everything's vibrating, bouncing down the fields. Got to make sure everything's tight. And then this pump right here, you just chain it to the 3-point hitch and it won't rotate. It's really slick. We've tried lots of different tools for food plotting. This one really has been productive and beneficial. So it's a 100-gallon tank. So if you got 5, 8, 10 acres, it's perfect. All right, here's our 3 chemicals that we put down. I'll just kind of go through them quickly here. So this is just generic glyphosate or Roundup. And this year we're going to try some 2,4-D. So it's kind of a pre-emergent and broadleaf weed killer, and you gotta be careful with it because it has some residual, so you don't want to plant right away with it. They say 7 to 21 days. So Roundup, 2,4-D, and then this right here is basically a crop oil. I'll kind of zoom in on it, and You know, I'm no chemist or anything, but it basically helps with hard water, and just kind of makes, I've heard them use the term, it makes everything hotter. So it makes all the chemicals work better. So we just have a sandpoint well, very simple little well here, and it doesn't have a lot of pressure, but the water's got some serious hardness to it. This is our first year using the 2,4-D, so we got to get that in here. But basically, here's the glyphosate or Roundup, and then this is what we do with that crop oil.
The 2,4-D is 1 pint per acre.
Now we just got to get it filled up. So 15 gallons per acre is what we put down of this mixture. So water, Roundup or glyphosate, the 2,4-D, and then the crop oil. So we got to get to 75 gallons. It's about right there, 75 gallons. So we got a ways to go. Alright guys, this is another little trick that we do. So we have a sandpoint well, so we don't get a lot of water pressure. So it takes forever to fill up these tanks. So what we do is we have a tank, kind of like a water tower, so to speak. So we have a tank up high. And when we have some downtime, we'll run the hose over here and we'll fill this tank up. And then when we need that water, it flows out of there, so we back up the tractor right here, and that tank then will flow into the other tank a much faster rate using gravity. There's our makeshift water tower, so you can see the hose there. And then so this hose is coming off the sandpoint well. You can see there's actually more pressure out of that tank than there is out of the sandpoint well. But anyway, otherwise we'd be sitting here for almost an hour filling this tank. So we are at about 50 gallons. We got about 25 more gallons to go. So guys, the mixture, once you're filling it, it kind of turns to milk color, kind of white. Probably pretty hard to see in the camera there, but we're a little bit over 75 gallons. So I'm gonna shut off the water. Okay guys, devil's in the details. I want to explain how we know we're putting down the right amount. Okay, so you know you're spraying at a certain pressure and your tractor's traveling at a certain speed, and that's how you know exactly how much is getting laid out. So here's what we do. We set the gauge to 30 psi, which we forgot to do. You want to do that with water, not the mixture, if you can help it. So we'll have to do that with the mixture. But anyway, it should be set right, but we'll check that. So 30 psi. And 30 psi when you have the PTO running at 5,400 RPMs, okay? So a lot of tractors they'll point that out right on the dash. So on this tractor, it's like 2,500 RPM, okay? So 30 psi, we want the PTO running at that speed to get 30 psi. And then we want to travel at 4.5 miles per hour. And so we took a GPS, because we don't have a speedometer on this tractor. We took a GPS, and we did this a while ago. We set our cruise control and basically put a piece of duct tape, so we know in second gear you're going 4.5 miles per hour. Okay, so you got to kind of calculate that. You need your speed and your pressure in order to achieve this 15 gallons per acre. Does that make sense? It's somewhat complicated. You know, it's not super critical that you get it exactly perfect, but we do our best to try to follow the recipe. All right, spraying's done. Took about a little over an hour, about 5 acres worth. All right, so we are cleaning this baby out right now. So I'm gonna put some water in it. I'm gonna run it again. I'm kind of in an area where I don't care about, you know, the grass here, so I'll just spray it out on the ground. But just basically gonna fill it up here a little ways and fire up the tractor and just run water through it. We'll be spraying again a couple more times this year, so I don't need to completely winterize yet. Just a great sprayer. Goes through the woods without any worry. I'm not looking over my shoulder to make sure booms aren't getting hit on trees. So worked really well. Get everything all done. We're gonna come back and plant in about 3 weeks, 2 weeks, something like that. So we'll plant soybeans. We're gonna do some clover plots. We're gonna try some buckwheat as a summer crop this year. We've tried it in the past, haven't had much success, but we're gonna try it again, a little bit different technique. It's supposed to build soil, but you know, the deer like to eat it, so it kind of gets browsed a lot. But anyway, cover crops are tough to figure out, so we're experimenting this year with those. But anyway, let's wrap this video up. Thanks for being with us. If you like this kind of content with food plots, deer hunting, chainsaws, tractors, hit that subscribe button. It really helps out the channel. Hit the little bell if you want to be notified. All the likes really help. So take care, everybody. Remember, keep it in the timber. Bye-bye.